Hey, what's up, everybody? True Boxing here. Thank you for coming back to Get Hit with the Truth. So today we're doing the October TV schedule, as we are going to talk about all the boxing schedule for the month of October and all the networks and everywhere you can see the main fights that are taking place this month. And then at the end of it, I will do like my top 3 to 5 fights that you got to see in October. Before we get into that, if you could smash the like button, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. I really do appreciate any and all support that I can get as I continue to build my channel up here. So we start off with this weekend, October 7th. We have 2 cards going on. First, from the United Kingdom, Leigh Wood will defend his WBA featherweight title when he takes on former 2-time champion Josh Warrington. Wood is in his second reign as WBA champion, as he beat Mauricio Lara, and he's going to clash with Josh Warrington in a big-time fight, all UK battle for the WBA title. Can't wait to see this one. Should be good. I did a breakdown video on this fight a couple weeks ago. Go check it out if you want in full detail, but that's Saturday afternoon if you're on the West Coast in the United States and it's coming from the UK. Then later that evening, DAZN comes back from the US when Gilberto Ramirez, the former 2-time super middleweight champion, battles former light heavyweight champion Joe Smith Jr. Both these guys coming off of losses. They're trying to bounce back and prove themselves as they are moving up to the cruiserweight division for this crossroads fight. I think it's going to be entertaining as hell. Again, the undercard, not too much to speak of, or else I'd be mentioning other fights that are taking place. But that's also on October 7th and also on DAZN later on in the evening. Make sure you check that out. A week later, on October 14th, we got 3 different cards taking place. First, the DAZN card has former junior lightweight champion of the world Miguel Berchelt, as he makes another try at lightweight to prove that he's, he can be a player there, as he is going to take on a guy named Diego Ruiz. Berchelt, coming off of losses, back-to-back losses, going to try to regroup and do it again. He suffered knockout losses in 2021 to Oscar Valdez and then 2022 to Jeremiah Nakathila. Now he needs to try to get back in the mix, taking on this Diego Ruiz. That's on DAZN. On ESPN that day, you have a pretty solid, there's 2 fights to talk about that are significant. First, the undercard, Keyshawn Davis, the undefeated lightweight prospect on the rise, has taken on a guy named Nahir Albright in a lightweight showdown. Davis is pretty talented, been looking pretty good. He's in the co-feature, so that should be decent. But the main event's a good one, guys. Title unification at middleweight, 160 pounds. Reigning and undefeated WBO champion Janibek Alimkhanuly, Kazakh style, is going to take on newly crowned IBF middleweight champion Vicente Gualtieri. This is a good matchup right here, as these 2 guys try to unify 2 of the 4 belts at 160 pounds. Really, really good fight right here as they bring 2 titles together. I'm looking forward to seeing it. It should be good. Make sure you check that one out, because the winner will own half of the middleweight division. Then on Showtime on October 14th, you got a couple decent fights coming from Australia, as in the co-feature, super bantamweight contender on the rise, undefeated Sam Goodman, fresh off his upset split decision victory over, God damn it, I'm drawing the guy's name now. I don't know why I'm drawing the guy's name, but he got a huge win in his last fight in Australia. It was on another Zoo undercard. He's returning as he's taking on veteran former world title challenger Miguel Flores, as he tries to continue his rise and hoping to get that title shot sometime in the next year. That should be decent. But the main event, Tim Tszyu, the newly appointed WBO junior middleweight champion at 154, will make the first defense of his title against WBC interim champion and upset-minded Brian Mendoza. Tszyu has been hot this year as he was waiting around for Charlo. The WBO allowed Zhu to be upgraded to full champion once Charlo took on Canelo. And now he is the full champion and is going to be squaring off against Brian Mendoza, who's coming off of questionably the upset of the year, his 7th round brutal knockout victory over previously undefeated Sebastian Fundora. This should be a good one right here. Really looking forward to that on the 14th. Zhu and Mendoza for the WBO Junior Middleweight Championship of the World at 154 pounds. October 21st, I got a couple so-so cards on DAZN. First, from the United Kingdom, Jack Catterall, the former world title challenger who was robbed last year against Josh Taylor for the undisputed title at 140, is going to return to battle former 3-division world champion Jorge Linares. Linares is out to prove that he's still got what it takes to compete at the highest level. He's had a couple losses though. You know, he had 2 losses last year, and he needs to prove himself against Catterall, who wants to earn that title shot back, that much deserved title shot. He wants to put himself back in the mix to get a title shot again and face the best at 140. So Catterall and Linares. Then also on DAZN later that night, you got Alexis Rocha, welterweight contender. He's currently #1 in the WBO at 147, is taking on the tough Giovanni Santillan. This should be a good welterweight battle right here. I did an Is On video for this one not too long ago. Go back and check that out in my videos. But this should be a good one. I'm looking forward to it because Alexis Rocha, if Terrence Crawford makes a decision on his fight with Errol Spence, Alexis Rocha could very easily, this could very easily turn into a WBO interim title fight or vacant title fight right here. And at the very least, he locks down the mandatory position to fight for the title next if he can beat Santillan. So this should be a good action-packed fight right here. I'm looking forward to seeing it on October 21st, Rocha and Santillan. Then to close out the month, we got a couple good, well, a couple cards. I don't know if I'd call them good. First on DAZN, O'Shaquie Foster, the newly crowned and reigning WBC super featherweight champion of the world at 130 pounds. He's coming off of his upset decision victory over Ray Vargas as he captured the belt. He will make the first defense of his belt against mandatory challenger, the hard-hitting Rocky Hernandez. This is a pretty solid opponent for Foster to take on in his initial defense. I'm looking forward to seeing it. That's on DAZN. Haven't heard much about the undercard. So, but that main event should be pretty solid as Foster tries to make his move towards the top of 130. And then the card on ESPN pay-per-view sees the undefeated WBC heavyweight champion of the world, Tyson Fury, as he will fight Francis Ngannou, the former UFC heavyweight champion, in a non-title fight, as Fury is taking this big kind of money fight right here with Ngannou, with the Usyk fight already being signed and ready to go. They're just trying to see when the date is going to be, and that's based on how Fury's going to do against Ngannou. So that's October 28th on ESPN pay-per-view. So with all those fights I announced, I'm going to do like my top 5 must-see fights that you really want to watch. Above all, I'm taking Fury Ngannou out because I'm excited that Fury's going to fight Usyk, but I really think it's a joke that he's fighting a guy who has never had a professional fight before. I'm glad it's not for the world title, but it is all for show. I do understand that side of it, but I just wish he was fighting the best in the heavyweight division, so I'm taking that fight out of the equation. The fights I'm looking forward to the most, let me see here. Number 5 for me is gonna be probably either the Catterall Linares fight or the Foster and Rocky Hernandez fight, but probably more Catterall Linares. I've been a big fan of Linares from early on, and Catterall, you know, has not received his rematch or shot at the title that he deserved after the robbery that was put on him last year in the most my most controversial fight of the year. So now, a win over Linares, you know, a name fighter, a former world champion, will do him some good heading into 2024, and hopefully he can get that title shot. So I'm gonna say that's number 5 for me. Number 4 is the title unification bout between Janibek Alimkhanuly and what's his name, Vicente Gualtieri. This is a big fight right here for the middleweight division. Even though these guys aren't well known, unifying belts at middleweight, because that division's so wide open and it's kind of a depleted division now. So they need somebody to step it up and take charge in this division. I think it's Kazakh style Janibek that is going to take that, but Vicente Gualtieri upset Esquiva Falchao to capture the vacant IBF title a few months ago. So he's in upset mode, and now he wants to add to his belts as well. So I'm looking forward to this fight right here between these two in the middleweight division. Number 3 for me, and it's tough to choose between these 3 fights, but number 3 for me is the Gilberto Ramirez versus Joe Smith Jr. fight. And I think this fight only finishes number 3. This could be the best fight of the year, of the month. But the reason it's number 3 is because there's no title at stake. They're both coming off of losses to the best guys in the light heavyweight division, though, and they got nothing to hang their head about. But it's truly a crossroads fight as these two guys try to prove themselves. It should be good. I also did a breakdown video on this fight. Go check that one out. That was from a couple weeks ago. That's happening October 7th on DAZN. Number 2 on the month is the Lee Wood and Josh Warrington WBA featherweight title fight that is also taking place this weekend on October 7th. I'm looking forward to this because it's an all UK battle. It's 2 guys that are still right there in the high mix in the featherweight division, and they get to fight at home. I understand the significance of an all UK battle like this and what it means for that country. So these fighters are really going to bring it. It's a huge fight for them. It might be both of their biggest fights of their career. These guys get pumped up for these kind of fights. So I'm really looking forward to this one. Wood and Warrington is on October 7th on DAZN for the WBA featherweight title. But the fight, I think, the most highly anticipated fight, the biggest fight of the month for me, is the Tim Tszyu versus Brian Mendoza fight, just because of all the things that can happen from this fight. Tim Tszyu, undefeated, son of the Hall of Famer Kostya Tszyu, really has been hot this year as he awaited Jermell Charlo, and now gets an opportunity against Brian Mendoza, who is coming off the biggest upset of the year, brutally knocking out Sebastian Fundora, who's the undefeated and most avoided guy at 154. Mendoza took him on, was losing every round, and knocked him out. And then you start reading into Mendoza's resume, and he's a lot better than people think. So this is a big fight for both these guys. I think Mendoza's a tougher test than people are giving him credit for. I think it's going to be good, though, and I'm really looking forward to seeing that. That's October 14th on Showtime. And remember, you got Charlo's waiting there. He might fight the winner of this fight as he comes back down in weight. You got Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence likely moving up to 154 to fight. So a lot of moving pieces and possibilities for the winner of this fight. So we'll see what happens, but that's it. That's what I got. That's my October boxing schedule. Hope you enjoyed it. Every weekend has fights. They have multiple cards going on, and it should be a good month of boxing. I hope you enjoyed it again. This is True Boxing. You've been hit with the truth.